there are conflict journalists who sadly, no matter how careful they were, died in the line of duty. Many entities that document journalism say it's one of the most dangerous professions on the planet. I'm thinking of my friend Marie Colvin, who died in Syria in 2012 while reporting on the siege of Homs. And in fact, she may have actually been targeted by the regime. Is the death of Marie and others something that weighs heavily on your mind, especially when you are in these zones of conflict?
Well, Marie was also a good friend of mine, and we worked together at the Sunday Times from, from my first job was at the Sunday Times. And Kurt Schork, who was, one of the most courageous war reporters, who was killed when we were working together in Sierra Leone. Steve Sutloff and Jim Foley, who were both friends. Steve Sutloff was a dear friend. They were both executed by ISIS. Many of my friends who were killed in Sarajevo, in Africa, in Syria, and throughout the Middle East, the list could go on. And then that's the people who were killed in combat. Then let's even begin to talk about the people that killed themselves or drank themselves to death or suffered immensely from the things they saw. I think that all of the people we talked about had a very clear mission, which was to bear witness to something and to record it, to document it. Yes, it is probably the most dangerous job on the planet, aside from being an emergency room doctor right now, or a soldier. And actually, it's more dangerous than being a soldier, because I've been in many studies with a Canadian psychiatrist called Dr. Anthony Feinstein, who is at University of Toronto, extraordinary man. He did the first study on post-traumatic stress disorder and its effect on war reporters back in 2000. And I was part of his study group. Now he's doing the same thing about moral injury. And basically he says to me, you and your tribe always think you're invincible.
Yes.
And it's probably the most dangerous job on earth, because a soldier will do maybe 1 or 2, possibly 3 tours of duty, right? The average war reporter does it for between 16 and 20 years.
Wow.
So the chances of getting, in my case, it's 30, right? I've taken a few years out my son is in high school in New York. And so I don't, I still travel to places, but not with the kind of intensity of living in places the way I used to. But once he goes to college, I will start again. If you haven't been injured or killed in 30 years, that's pretty good odds, right? Considering that, some of the places I've been where cities have fallen, cities under siege, active aerial bombardment. So I think every person who does this job, it's a very noble profession. It really is something. You don't get paid very well. You don't get treated very well. In my time, it was very sexist. I think male editors now don't get away with what they got away in the time when Marie and I were young. So it's not an easy job. And it's interesting when sometimes I get young women who say, I want to be a war reporter. It's so cool. And I just think, boy, it is anything but cool. Cool, it is not.